Hello and welcome back to another fantastic video. Today's video is going to focus on the basic principles of the Constitution. So by the time we finish with this video, you should be able to identify and describe basic principles of the Constitution, okay? Or founding ideas that went into the creation of the Constitution. We're going to go over examples in class, so just be prepared for that. All right, so the first one we want to look at today is popular sovereignty. And we've heard of this term before. Popular sovereignty means the people have the power. So whenever you see the word sovereignty, I want you to think of like total power, okay? Whenever I think of the word sovereignty, I think of putting on a crown, okay? Like a sovereign leader wears a crown. So popular sovereignty means people have the power, okay? So John Locke is somebody who would have believed in popular sovereignty because the governing power flows from the people. Next, we've got representation. This was a huge component of the Constitution because our founding fathers wanted to make sure that we were represented in our government, okay? So how are we represented in our government? Well, people are elected to represent us to make those decisions about government, okay? Next, we've got federalism, and we've heard of this before. Federalism, what? Federalism, what? A division of what? A power between the states and the federal government. Yeah. So federalism, division of power between the states and the federal government. Federal government can do some things, state government can do other things. Next, we've got limited government, and we've had this definition or this term before. Limited government literally is this idea that there are certain things that the government cannot do. Okay, the government is limited in power. They do not have absolute power. Next, we've got the rule of law. And the rule of law is this idea that everyone is subject to and not above the law. Okay, so it doesn't matter who you are. If you break the law, you're going to be held accountable for it. Okay. Next, we've got due process, and we've heard this phrase before as well. Due process refers to that established set of procedures that have to happen before someone can be deprived of their life, liberty, and property, okay? So if you are arrested, if you're charged with a crime, we're not just going to throw you in jail and leave you there forever. We're going to give you your day in court. We're going to give you the chance to defend yourself, and et cetera, et cetera. Next, we've got judicial review, and we just talked about judicial review with the Marbury v. Madison landmark case. So judicial review is the authority of the federal courts to determine the constitutionality, there's a $7 word for you, the constitutionality of acts of Congress or the president. So they can look at something that Congress does or something that the president does and say, can't do it. It doesn't go along with the Constitution, okay? Next, we've got separation of powers, and that's something that our friend Baron de Montesquieu, the French philosopher, thought of. He said, separation of powers is a great thing because if you divide powers of government into different branches, that ensures that no one person gets too much power. And then checks and balances, and this is going to take us into a really in-depth discussion in class. But checks and balances is the idea that each branch has responsibilities in other branches to ensure a balance of power, okay? And this is, move myself out of the way a little bit. Here's an image that you've probably seen before talking about the three branches of government and the people that serve in them. And I will stop there. If you guys have any questions, let me know.